Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Keith. So real quick before we jump into today's lesson, I wanted to share something with you. I've been in search of a guitar with humbuckers in it for the longest time, and luckily enough, this one came along. I was able to actually win this guitar off of Fret Not Guitars, their YouTube channel, and they have weekly drawings, and I happen to have been the winner for this guitar in particular. This is a Diamond Monarch guitar with Seymour Duncans in it, and I couldn't be happier. I've only had it for a few days now, and it sounds good. So while the intro has nothing to do with today's lesson, I just wanted to throw that in there. But we are here to talk about guitar and a little bit of guitar theory. More importantly, how to have fun with the guitar. So last week I shared the major keys and different chords and how that all fits in. I'll throw up a graphic right now to kind of illustrate that. You could jump to my video that I have there, go through all the different keys, or at least a few of them, to kind of give you an idea on how to come up with your own chord progressions and actually make them sound good. Today, instead of doing the major keys, we're going to do a little run through of the minor keys. So let's just go ahead and throw that up here and let's talk through it. So with the major keys, we knew that the 1, 4, and 5 were always major, and the 2, 3, and 6 were minor, and the 7 was a diminished chord, or a minor 7 flat 5. In this lesson, here's the chart for the minor chords. The 1 and the 4 are the minor chords, and the rest are major except for the 2. This time the 2 is the diminished chord, or minor 7 flat 5 chord. We won't really mess around with that 2 chord too much in this thing, but I did want to go through a few examples. So I'm going to narrow things down here to just 3 keys: A minor, E minor, and G minor, just to kind of run through how this whole thing works. So let's just jump right into it with the A minor. So one of the more recent popular songs that is written in A minor is by 21 Pilots. It's Stressed Out. So actually, the song starts out in F, then it goes to the D minor and the A minor. That's where it resolves on. But take a look here. If you look at the chart, the F is the 6, the D minor is the 4, and the 1 obviously is the A minor. So it's all in that same row on that little chart here, and it resolves on the A minor, hence it's in the key of A minor. So you have that F, then a D minor, then the A minor. So it flows along with that. So the next song is a pretty ubiquitous song. It's probably one of the first songs that you learn how to play on guitar. Let's see if you can figure this one out. House of the Rising Sun. Now this one is a little tricky because there's one chord that might throw you off. Let's run through it. So the first chord is our 1, it's the A minor. Then the second chord is the C, that's a 3. And then we move up to the next chord, which is our 4, but it's still a major. It's the D. And then we resolve on the F, which is the 6. Then back. But those are really common songs. Let's say you want to make up your own chord progression. So let's just head to the chart and pick out some random chords and see if it sounds good. So for this example, let's just say we do an A minor, which is our 1. And then D minor, right? We want to stay in minor sound. So we're going to go to a D minor, that's our 4. And then a G would be our 7 in this chart. And then a C would be the 3. I could already feel that's going to sound good, so let's just kind of strum it out, see how it sounds. Alright, so that sounds pretty good. So now that we established that sounds good, let's kind of just switch things up and see how it sounds if I play it a little differently. sounds pretty cool. All right, so that's enough of the A minor. Let's move on to the E minor. E minor is going to be a little more fun, and you can notice the hissing in the background because I know a very popular song that you probably know that's in the key of E minor. Seven Nation Army's in the key of E minor. So if you look at the chart here, I'm just going to go ahead and throw the chords up in addition to the chart. It's an E minor, a G, an E minor, D, C, B. Let me turn off the overdrive and we can go through it real quick. So if we're going to start Seven Nation Army, that's the E. So we're going to do an E minor right up here. But for the power chords, let me turn off this delay. So to start off with our E minor, it's right here on the 12th fret. And if you wanted to do an E minor, we could just do the full chord like this. But we're doing power chords, right? So we're just going to hit these top two strings, and that pretty much is an E minor. And then we're going to go up to the G. Then back to the E minor. Then to the D. And then to the C. And then to the B. And again, if you look at this chart, all those are in that E minor row. Finally, let's round things out. Let's do something that's pretty uncommon. Let's just look at a G minor and hope for the best. Yeah, so the G minor is going to be a little bit more difficult because there's not really that many songs in G minor. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I wanted to put it in here just to give ourselves a little bit of a challenge. So let's just do a straight 1-4-5. The 1 would be the G minor, and the 4 would be a C minor, and the 5 would be a D. Okay, so I'm going to do a 1-4-5 and go back to the 1, see how that sounds. If you could do something with that, please record it and put it up on YouTube and let me know. But there's tons of opportunities here because when you transpose songs, you could do any song that you want and transpose it. Let's say you wanted to take a song in A minor and transpose it to a G minor. You follow those Roman numeral structures, and let's say for example, 21 Pilots, it's a F, D minor, A minor. So the F would be the 6, the D minor would be the 4, and the A minor would be the 1. So it's a 6-4-1. So let's think about it that way. If we use the 6, will be an E flat in the key of G minor. The 4 would be a C minor, and the 1 would be the G minor. So you could experiment doing things that way if you wanted to make it sound better for your voice if you're trying to sing it. Things like that. So it's very versatile, this whole chart. So I would highly recommend running through this chart and seeing how things sound by following the rules. And then, just like with House of the Rising Sun, you could break out of the rules. I mean, these are just there to kind of guide you along. If something sounds better to your ear, then by all means use it if it doesn't match up to this chart. But a lot of times you'll be struggling inside your head trying to figure out what the next chord should be in any given key. That's why these little charts here are very handy. I mean, these charts, they're not a secret. They're out there for a reason because they work. There's so many popular songs in different keys that abide by this kind of structure here. And you could pick out random, completely random chords, stick within that kind of row in your chart, and 9 times out of 10 it'll sound good as long as you got a nice little flow to it. But it's all up for experimentation, which I highly encourage. So with that said, I hope this was really helpful, and if you did like it, please hit that like button, subscribe, and I will talk to you later. Thanks, bye. And that hit me in the head.